The funny thing is, when you grow up in a family, you think you know them inside and out. You think you can predict what your sister will say before she says it, or how your parents will react to bad news before they even hear it. That's how I felt my whole life. Secure in the idea that my family might not be perfect, but at least we were honest with each other. My name is Hannah, and I couldn't have been more wrong. The day I found out the truth started out completely ordinary. It was a Saturday morning, the kind of day where sunlight streams through the blinds and you feel like you can finally breathe after a long week. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my coffee, scrolling through my phone, half listening to the hum of life around me. My mom was fussing with the laundry in the next room, my dad was reading the newspaper, and my sister Rachel was pacing around the house with her phone glued to her ear. Rachel has always been the talker of the family. She's the one who could charm her way out of a speeding ticket or talk a teacher into giving her an extension. I used to admire it, honestly. She always seemed so confident, so untouchable, like the world just bent around her whenever she wanted it to. But that morning, she wasn't careful. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. It just sort of happened. She was in the hallway, her voice low, but not low enough. I wasn't paying much attention at first, just sipping my coffee, but then I heard my name. She doesn't even know, Rachel said, her voice tinged with amusement. We're just waiting for the right time to tell her. Honestly, it's kind of funny how clueless Hannah is. My stomach dropped. My fingers froze around the coffee mug. At first, I thought maybe I misheard her. Clueless? Waiting to tell me what? My mind raced with possibilities. A surprise party? A gift? But the tone in her voice, it wasn't lighthearted. It was almost cruel. Yeah, Mom and Dad said we shouldn't bring it up yet, she continued, laughing softly. She'd probably freak out if she knew. It's better this way. Trust me, Hannah has no idea what's coming. I felt like someone had pulled the floor out from under me. My sister, my own sister, was laughing about me behind my back. And not just about some small thing, but about something big. Something my whole family apparently knew about except me. I set my mug down carefully, as though the world would shatter if I made too much noise. In that moment, I wanted to storm into the hallway and demand answers. I wanted to scream, to shake her and force her to tell me what she meant, but I didn't. I just sat there, frozen, my heart hammering against my ribs. Because suddenly, I was afraid. Afraid that whatever this secret was, it would change everything I thought I knew about my family. Rachel ended her call after a few more minutes, laughing at something the other person said, and then she breezed into the kitchen like nothing had happened. She glanced at me, gave me a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, and grabbed a granola bar from the counter. Morning, she said casually, like she hadn't just detonated a bomb in my chest. Morning, I replied, my voice tighter than I meant it to be. She didn't notice. Or maybe she did. And she just didn't care. She left as quickly as she came, the door slamming shut behind her. And I was left there, staring at the sunlight on the kitchen table, wondering what exactly my family was hiding from me, and why they all thought I was too fragile to handle the truth. That was the moment everything shifted. That was the beginning of the unraveling. I spent the rest of that morning in a haze. My mind kept replaying Rachel's words on a loop, like a broken record I couldn't switch off. She doesn't even know. We're just waiting for the right time to tell her. The more I thought about it, the more I realized it wasn't just the words that hurt. It was the tone. She sounded so casual, so amused, like I was some naive little kid she could laugh about behind my back. But here's the thing about me. I notice things. Maybe it's because I've always been the quieter one, the one who sits back and listens while everyone else talks. Growing up, Rachel filled every room with her energy, her laughter, her stories. She was the golden child, and I was the shadow. I can't tell you how many times I heard, "Why can't you be more like Rachel?" Or, "Look at your sister, she's so confident, so smart." At first, I tried to live up to it. I joined clubs I didn't like, forced myself into conversations that drained me, wore clothes that didn't feel like me, all because I thought maybe, just maybe, if I mirrored Rachel enough, people would see me too. But no matter what I did, Rachel always seemed one step ahead. She was the star student, the popular friend, the one who made my parents beam with pride. And me? I was the other one, quiet Hannah, the girl who blended into the wallpaper. It's not that my parents didn't love me. They did, in their way. But love and recognition aren't the same thing. Love doesn't erase the sting of always being second best, and over time, I stopped trying to compete. I told myself I was fine with being invisible, fine with keeping my head down and carving my own little space in the shadows. But that morning proved I wasn't invisible at all. Not in the way I'd thought. I wasn't unseen. I was underestimated. And that's somehow worse. All day, I tried to act normal. I helped my mom fold laundry, nodded along when Dad read something interesting from his newspaper, and even smiled when Rachel strolled back in later, chattering about meeting her friends. But inside, I was spiraling. Every word they said felt loaded, like there was a hidden meaning I wasn't catching. Every glance between my parents and Rachel seemed suspicious, like they were sharing some secret code. That night, lying in bed, I thought back to all the little moments that hadn't made sense before. Times when conversations would stop abruptly when I walked into the room. The sideways glances between my parents when I asked about the future. Rachel's smug little smirks that I'd always brushed off. Suddenly, it all felt connected, like puzzle pieces I hadn't realized were even part of the same picture. I tossed and turned, my chest heavy with a mix of anger and dread. If this had been about something good, a surprise, a gift, anything, they wouldn't be hiding it this way. They wouldn't be laughing at my expense. Number. Whatever this was, it wasn't for me. It was about me, and not in a way I was going to like. The next morning, I woke up determined. I wasn't going to sit back and let them keep me in the dark. I needed to know. I deserved to know. I went downstairs, heart pounding, and tried to casually bring it up. So, what are we doing this weekend? I asked, pouring myself cereal. My mom looked up from her coffee. Nothing special? Why? Just wondering, I said lightly. But my eyes flicked to Rachel, who was scrolling on her phone. Her lips twitched like she was fighting a smile. It was all I could do not to slam my spoon against the table and scream, "Just tell me the damn truth." But I didn't. Not yet. Because something inside me whispered that whatever this secret was, once I knew, I couldn't unknow it. And maybe, just maybe, my life would never be the same again. That whisper kept me up at night. It clawed at me in the quiet moments, growing louder each day until it was impossible to ignore. I couldn't shake the feeling that my sister's slip-up wasn't just an accident. It was the beginning of the end of everything I thought I knew about my family. I couldn't stop watching them. Every small gesture, every whisper exchanged between my parents and Rachel became evidence in my mind. Maybe I was paranoid, but I couldn't shake the feeling that their lives were unfolding on a stage I wasn't invited to stand on. I was stuck in the audience, watching everyone else perform while I sat in silence. The breaking point came a week later. I was sitting on the couch with a book, trying to distract myself, when Rachel walked into the living room on a call again. She didn't see me at first. She was too absorbed, pacing back and forth with that same smug expression she always had when she thought she was in on some private joke. "Yeah, she still doesn't know," Rachel said, her voice low but tinged with laughter. "It's actually kind of unbelievable. Mom and Dad are being super careful, but Hannah's so oblivious. I mean, she hasn't even asked the right questions." My heart thudded in my chest. Oblivious. That word burned like fire in my ears. She paused, listening to whoever was on the other end of the line, then laughed. "Oh, she's going to lose it when she finds out." Honestly, I almost slipped the other day, but I covered it up. She's so easy to keep in the dark, I couldn't take it anymore. I dropped my book onto the couch with a thud. Rachel spun around, startled, her phone clutched in her hand. Her eyes widened when she realized I'd been there the whole time. "Who are you talking about?" I asked, my voice trembling with anger. "What don't I know?" she stammered, her face going pale. It's it's nothing, Hannah. Just a stupid inside joke." "Calm down. Don't lie to me," I snapped. "You've been laughing at me behind my back, Rachel. I heard you the other day, too. You and Mom and Dad. You're hiding something, and I want to know what it is." For a split second, I saw it, the guilt in her eyes. But then it was gone, replaced with that practiced smirk she always wore when she wanted to make me feel small. "You're imagining things," she said lightly. "God, you're so dramatic sometimes. Not everything is about you." The words sliced through me, but instead of breaking me, they fueled my rage. I stood up, my hands shaking. "You think I'm stupid, don't you? You think I'm too pathetic to figure it out. But I'm not. I'm not your joke, Rachel." Her mouth opened like she was about to snap back, but before she could, my mom walked in carrying a laundry basket. The tension in the room must have been palpable because she froze instantly. "What's going on here?" she asked, her eyes flicking between us. "Ask Rachel," I said coldly. "Ask her what she and Dad and you have been hiding from me." My mom's face drained of color. She set the basket down slowly, as though buying herself time. Rachel looked at her, panic flashing across her expression. For the first time in a long time, she didn't look confident. She looked trapped. And that's when I knew. Whatever this secret was, it was real. It wasn't just in my head. They had been hiding something from me, something big enough to send Rachel into a tailspin just because I'd overheard her. I stood there, waiting for my mom to speak, my heart pounding so hard I could barely breathe, but she didn't say anything. She just opened her mouth, then closed it again, and the silence between us grew heavier and heavier until I thought it might crush me. That silence told me more than words ever could. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I was right. They were lying to me, and the truth was about to rip everything apart. That night, I couldn't sit still. Every sound in the house made my skin crawl. Every silence felt like it was screaming at me. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying that moment in the living room over and over again. Rachel's face when she realized I'd overheard her. My mom's silence when I demanded answers. The way neither of them denied it. That silence was the proof I'd been looking for. But it wasn't enough. I needed the truth. By morning, I had made up my mind. I wasn't going to let them keep me in the dark any longer. I went downstairs to the kitchen, where my parents were already sitting at the table. Rachel was there too, scrolling on her phone like she hadn't just shattered my trust. I stood there for a moment, taking it all in. My mom with her worried eyes, my dad pretending to be engrossed in the newspaper, Rachel looking smug and bored. I felt like a stranger in my own home. Finally, I said it. "What are you hiding from me?" All three of them looked up. My mom's face went pale. My dad cleared his throat but didn't speak. Rachel shifted uncomfortably, her phone still in her hand, but her eyes darting toward our parents like she wanted them to save her. "Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about," I continued, my voice shaking but firm. "I heard Rachel. Twice. She said you've been keeping something from me. She said I don't know what's coming. So tell me. Tell me now." The silence that followed was unbearable. Finally, my dad sighed, folding his newspaper carefully like he needed every second of stalling. "Hannah, it's complicated," he said. "Complicated?" I snapped. "It's my life. You're talking about me like I'm some clueless idiot. Whatever it is, I deserve to know." My mom reached across the table, her hand trembling as she tried to grab mine. "Sweetheart, please. We didn't want to upset you. That's why we waited. Upset me? My laugh came out bitter. So it's bad then. Because if it was good news, you wouldn't be hiding it, would you? No one spoke. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I wanted to scream. Rachel finally broke the silence. Fine, she muttered, her voice low. She's going to find out anyway. Rachel, my mom warned, but Rachel ignored her. She leaned back in her chair, crossing her arms. They don't think you can handle it, Hannah. They've been planning things without you. Decisions about the future, about the family. And they didn't want you to know because they think you'd overreact. My blood ran cold. Planning what? I demanded. No one answered. My mom stared at the table. My dad rubbed his temples. Rachel just smirked, like she enjoyed watching me squirm. You've been making decisions behind my back, I said slowly, my voice breaking. Decisions about my life. And you thought I was too pathetic to be included? Is that it? When no one denied it, the tears came hot and fast. I stood up so quickly my chair scraped against the floor. All those years, I choked out. All those years of feeling invisible, of being the second best daughter, the quiet one, the one you didn't have to worry about. And now this. You've proven it. I really don't matter to you, do I? Hannah, that's not true. My dad started, but I cut him off. Don't. Don't lie to me again. You've all been lying for weeks, maybe longer. And you let Rachel laugh about me, call me clueless, make me the butt of some family joke. Do you have any idea what that feels like? The room was dead silent. My mom had tears in her eyes, but she still didn't say anything. My dad looked away. Rachel, for once, didn't have a comeback. I realized in that moment that I wasn't just hurt. I was done. Done begging for honesty. Done trying to be enough for them. Done letting their secrets and their laughter define me. Without another word, I turned and walked out of the kitchen. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I couldn't sit there another second, drowning in their silence. And as I walked away, one thought repeated in my head over and over again. If this is what family really is, maybe I don't want any part of it. I didn't come back downstairs that day. I shut my bedroom door and sat there in silence, the kind that presses against your chest until it feels hard to breathe. My phone buzzed with texts from Rachel. Snarky at first, then defensive, then finally pretending like nothing had happened. My mom knocked once, whispered that she loved me, then walked away when I didn't answer. My dad didn't try at all. It was the most alone I'd ever felt. But in a strange way, that loneliness started to feel like freedom. Because for the first time, I wasn't pretending. I wasn't sitting at the table smiling through the lies. I wasn't letting Rachel make me feel like a shadow. I was choosing myself. The next few days, I avoided them as much as I could. Meals in my room, headphones in when they tried to talk. Every time I saw them whispering, I felt that same sting in my chest, but I also felt stronger. I wasn't going to beg them to include me anymore. Then one evening, as the sun was setting, Rachel cornered me in the hallway. She leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "You've been sulking for days," she said, her voice dripping with fake nonchalance. "Are you ever going to get over it?" I stared at her for a long moment. She wanted me to snap, to yell, to cry. She wanted me to prove her right, that I was the dramatic, oversensitive sister who couldn't handle the truth. But I didn't give her that satisfaction. Instead, I said quietly, "I don't think you realize what you've done, Rachel. You didn't just tell me a secret. You showed me exactly what you think of me, what all of you think of me, and I'll never forget it." For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. Her smirk faltered. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. I walked past her without another word. That night, I sat down at my desk with a notebook. I wrote out everything I wanted in my life, things I'd been too scared to admit before. Independence, respect, a voice that was mine, not one that got drowned out at the dinner table. And as I wrote, I realized something. I didn't need their approval to have any of it. Their plans didn't define me. Their secrets didn't control me. Their opinions didn't determine my worth. I did. So I made a decision. After graduation, I'd move out. Not just to escape the suffocating silence of this house, but to prove to myself that I could stand on my own, that I could build a life where I wasn't the afterthought, the punchline, the one left in the dark. The next morning, I told my mom. Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't waver. My dad looked disappointed, but he didn't stop me. And Rachel? Well, she rolled her eyes and muttered something under her breath, but I didn't care. Because this wasn't about them anymore. It was about me. As I packed my bags weeks later, I glanced around my room one last time. The girl who used to live here, the one who bent over backward for scraps of love, who laughed off the whispers, who let her sister's words cut her to pieces. That girl was gone. And in her place was someone stronger, someone braver, someone who wasn't afraid to walk away from people who didn't value her. I wasn't sure what the future would hold, but I knew one thing for certain. I'd never let anyone make me feel small again. Not Rachel, not my parents, not anyone. And with that, I closed the door behind me.